Hey, have you ever worried that you're not living up to the expectations Jesus has for you? If by chance you have, then I want to show you something very special about the parable of the sower. The secret of this parable is actually in the fields that surrounded Jesus when he told the story. You know, Jesus told a lot of parables. He loved using these short stories as a way of teaching his followers, and each story had a point. There are actually two more short parables with agricultural themes in the fourth chapter of Mark's Gospel, in this chapter. The people around Jesus knew a lot about farming, so they connected with these stories. The short end of this parable, the parable of the sower, is that a man was sowing seed. He's planting a crop. Some of his seed fell in the field, which is what he wanted. Some fell among the rocks, some fell among the path, and some fell among the thistles. All of those seed were lost. If you're doing the math, that makes 4 options, and 3 of them are failures. I can remember hearing this story when I first became a follower of Jesus. Since I was quite aware of my own shortcomings, and still am, I can remember thinking, do I only have a 1 in 4 chance of getting this right? You know, none of the people hearing the story the day Jesus told it thought anything of the sort. The secret is in the field. Now, all of the land of the Galilee is very much like the land around Capernaum. So when Jesus began telling a story of a man planting a crop, people immediately got the picture. They could actually see the fields where farmers sowed their seed. Each one of these fields had a path. In the days when Jesus lived, people walked along these paths to go from community to community. A smart farmer would make sure he had a well-defined path in his field so that people would walk there and not where he had just planted a crop. As for the field itself, it would help to know that the land of this region is incredibly rocky. In fact, each year after the winter rains, the first task a farmer has to do is to remove all of the rocks that seem to have sprouted from the soil. That happens every year. There are so many of the rocks, they will never all be removed. But a farmer who wants his crop to succeed will remove as many of these rocks as possible. Now, the easiest place to throw all of these rocks is along the edge of the field, along the boundaries. That's why so many of these ancient fields have walls made of rocks. Along those rock walls, thistles and weeds grow. There is no way to stop the weeds, and the thistles are rough. Trust me, you do not want to walk through a patch of these thorny weeds. So now the story makes a bit more sense. You start with a man who is sowing seed. Remember, sowing seed is not an exact science. But this farmer will never intentionally throw his seeds among the thistles or along the path. Likewise, he's going to do his best to not plant seed in rocky soil. If a seed lands in a part of the field where there are some uncovered rocks just below the surface, that seed is going to germinate very quickly. The plant's going to spring up before all the other plants because the rocks absorb the heat of the sun. They magnify the warmth of the sun in the spring. Rocks below the surface act like a seed incubator even after the sun goes down. But those same rocks will block the roots of the young plant that are trying to go deep in the soil. Obviously, without roots, the plant can't survive. It's going to wither. So there are the 3 negatives. You've got seed on the path. Jesus said this is like someone who gets snatched up quickly, the way someone hears about Jesus and then walks away without giving it serious thought. Young plants without roots are like someone who never does the hard work of discipleship. The big idea of following Jesus is to become a disciple, and that does take work, and it's slow. But that's the process that brings us to maturity. You have to lay down roots. When you read the Bible and try to conform your life to the truth the Bible teaches, that's the idea. You're doing that now. Some people are simply not willing to pay that price. As for the weeds, any seed that falls along the thistles might germinate, but like the worries of life that create nothing but anxiety, these weeds are going to keep that seed from maturing. Now, come back to the farmer who was sowing the seed. If you've ever had a garden, or if you're a farmer, you're going to know this truth better than others who hear this story. When you spend the time, money, and energy to plant a crop, you will never intentionally plant your seed where there's no chance the seed will germinate. Instead, you will give those seeds every opportunity to succeed. If you're planting it, you want them to succeed. God will not plant you in a place where you will fail either. You need to lock down on that wonderful truth. And if you need this parable to illustrate that for you, I want you to now look at the fourth option. This is where it really gets cool. Some of the seed, Jesus said, fell on fertile soil, and there it laid down roots, took in the rain, bathed in the sunshine, and did what it was supposed to do. It produced a great crop. Take a look again at the fields around the lake. This is not a 1 in 4 opportunity God has put in front of you to succeed. Almost all of the land is what the parable calls good soil. Almost all of the fields are places where seed will succeed. The first time I stood in the middle of one of these fields, I realized this is the lesson Jesus was trying to teach us. I was overwhelmed with the joy of realizing that my opportunity to succeed in discipleship, my opportunity to bear fruit the way God designed me to do, was incredibly positive. It's the same for you. God wants you to succeed. God wants you to bear fruit. So when you read this story, keep your eye on the fertile ground. Dig your roots of discipleship deep into that rich soil. Do not fear the path, and do not let anxiety rob you of the sweet sensation of learning what it is that God has created for you to do. And then just enjoy a life of bearing fruit.